time?
Well, this whole area has been glaciated. Glaciers came down the Lake Erie Trough into northeastern Indiana, and as the edge of the ice retreated, the ice continued to flow, but the rate of flow versus the rate of melting varied, and so there were re-advances and still stands that produced the ridge moraines, the Union City moraine that goes right through Muncie, the Mississinewa moraine. The Mississinewa River flows along the southern margin of it, and a succession of other moraines farther north. When the ice margin was in the northern part of the county, all this melting was producing a lot of water that flowed away from the ice margin, and they were the channels that were formed by the water carried the water to the south-southwest. And these channels show up beautifully on these terrain models or on the topographic maps. And they're in some places a half mile or a mile wide, with a little tiny trickle down the middle of them now, because the current water supply is trivial compared to what it was when these channels were first made. So you'll find in the bottom of those channels, at some depth, it varies a lot from place to place, at some depth you'll find the gravel that was carried by these high velocity and meltwater streams.
And what was the thing about the puddles eutrifying and the...
Well, yeah, as the water supply deteriorated, as the ice margin moved farther to the north, or the rivers like the Mississinewa captured that drainage, the valleys began to dry up. There were deeper parts, just as there are pools and riffles along the current river, there were along those channels. And the deeper parts, the pools, became isolated ponds or puddles that eventually eutrophied. And there's a whole string of these peat bogs that resulted from that eutrophication in these channels.
Great.